Yo, what is up YouTube? It is your boy Charles here, back again with a brand new video for y'all today. And it's been like, what, 6 months that I haven't posted a video. And yeah guys, this is a hard reset ban list prediction. So without further ado, drop the like, comment, and always feel free to subscribe. So yeah guys, without further ado, let's begin, shall we? So the first card we're talking about here is Agido, and this is like what? Probably like the worst Ishizu card out of all the Ishizu cards here. And I know that as much as people really wants these cards to like what, either be gone or just stay alive, like in general, these cards should have never existed to begin with. And you know, Agido, like freaking milling 5 extra cards due to tiers or Shizus, it's like you're just making more combo plays. And honestly, dude, freaking Agido is the reason, or actually one of the few reasons besides other Shizu cards are still doing well. So in my opinion, personally, if I was to put this like in terms of ban list wise, definitely I would want to ban it, because you know, freaking I hate having to deal with like my opponent having to constantly mill cards over and over and then make some combo plays off of their tier monsters. And that's why like we need to hit these cards as possible, hopefully from Konami's perspective, especially TCG standpoint. But you know, that's just one card. The next card, Ancient Fairy Dragon. I feel like this card could definitely come back due to the fact that the next set after freaking what, Photon Hypernova, apparently this card got limited off of OCG, and it's also getting an errata. So yeah, so I feel like this card should definitely come back confidently. And let's go to the next card, Artifact Scythe. I think people really hates this card. It's kind of obvious. You know, extra deck, it just locking their opponent's extra deck for the rest of like the turn, it just ruins the aspect of the game. So yeah, obviously I would want a Forbidden. Oh man, freaking speaking of Forbidden, we're talking about the most ruined card in the game, Barrier of Stormwinds. Yeah, this card is really cancerous, especially if you're playing freaking Despia. Having a normal summon a Luber constantly and then having to deal with Barrier Statue on the field and the freaking Flow in the Reese Trout card, it just ruins the game, and you don't basically got any follow-up afterwards unless you have Forbidden Droplet to stop it. But unless they resolve D-Shifter, which that just ruins it all, yeah, this card definitely needs to go into ban. Definitely needs to get banned because it's just too broken. Freaking Branded Fusion. So this card, it survived a lot. You know, Branded Fusion, due to freaking Albaz getting so much lore, like this card alone is so freaking dumb. Like off of just one Branded Fusion, you just basically make a full board, and this card definitely needs to get hit at some point. But due to the freaking Albaz lore and all these new support coming out, I don't know if this will ever become limited, which I'm hoping that is the case, because if you just limit this card, you basically won't get any follow-up afterwards. So yeah, so hopefully if they do hit this card 2-1, that'll be great. Bisted Magnamute, this card, yeah, really good for both Despia and freaking Dragon Link. Dragon Link as a whole, especially because it just searches any dragon monster for follow-up and just any hand trap if you're playing like all the Bestials, for instance. Yeah, this card is just really good overall. So honestly, limiting this card is just worth it, personally, from my perspective. I don't know about you guys, but I know that freaking Magnamute has been out for like at least like almost 3 to 4 months now, and yeah, at some point that card needs to get hit right away. Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave, it's kind of a weird situation because everyone's just relying on Graveyard Shufflers with the Kaldo and, yeah, I think it's Kaldo and freaking Mudora. Those are like the 2 annoying cards, especially Kaldo because you get to search any Earth Fairy, any Earth level 4 Fairy monster. But you know, I've been seeing people saying Called by the Grave should get banned because honestly, yeah, this card is so irritating. But you know, if somehow the Ishizu cards was to still remain at 3, then all hope is lost, because like they need to hit these cards. We need a hard reset we need a hard reset ASAP, bro. I'm just gonna say that right now. So I feel like this card should definitely get banned. Just it's one of those types of cards where it's just gonna ruin the game like usual, and yada yada yada. So you know what I'm saying. The field spell for Flow on the Reese map. I've seen the OCG, you have this card at 1. I feel like I kind of agree with that. And you know, Flow the Rees as a whole, like I said, I know that freaking barrier statue is like the reason why that is. I feel like that's the reason why that deck is so good, because the barrier statue alone and D shifter is like your 2 win cons. But yeah, understand that like the field spell alone, like barrier statue and then the field spell and then plus this trap card, you don't even need to use the trap card at all. Yeah, this card alone, it just does more combos, and I'm like, yeah, at some point limiting this card would be nice. Another Flow Wonderies card, you know, hey, I have hate for Flow Wonderies, alright y'all? Like this, you know, Flow Wonderies is just annoying as fuck. And you know, Harpy's Featherstorm is one of these cards. Like, I know it's a staple card, but you know, they need to ban this. It's another annoying card to hit. But you know, Noah Kanabi, I don't know if that'll ever happen, so it is up to them to decide. So Hugin, I've always thought that runic cards were actually very, very dominant. I don't know, I mean, I feel like personally one card makes the deck so good. Freaking Runic Fountain is what makes the deck so good, but understand like Hugin is what makes a Search Fountain. So it's like, you know, I'm kind of deciding like whether this card should either get hit or not. So it's kind of in between at some point. I mean, it's kind of in between, but you know, this card's really, really good just for discard vault. I mean, yeah, discarding a card. Like, it's also good with Sprite Runics as well. So that's like another thing to understand. So yeah, limiting this card is kind of not bad. Instant Fusion. Some people are saying they want this card banned. I feel like that's kind of not bad. But then like there's another monster that's releasing from the new set, Cyberstorm Axis. They're also getting what is that new B Trooper level 5 monster, so it's kind of like, I don't know if this card's ever gonna get hit at some point or whatnot, but I personally think this card should get hit. It's just too generically broken. Fenrir, this card is basically like another version of Pankratops but way broken, but because it's TCG, it's a little different compared to OCG, whereas the OCG version of Fenrir is actually way broken for some reason, but it's just based on the ruling. So yeah, this card should definitely get limited. Unicorn, this is like no words. Unicorn's basically like a 1-card starter for Kshatrila, and yeah, they definitely need to hit that card. Ooh, Kelbeck. So yeah, this is really obvious. It's like the same as Agito, but it's way better, and it's a hand trap and mills 5 cards. And oh my god, I just freaking Ishizu tier. The deck, they need to hit these cards, bro. I'm just gonna say it right now. You need to hit these cards. So ban this as well. Keldo, this is actually the best one. So Keldo, this is obvious. Definitely you want to limit this card. Searchable, and it just does what it can. Recital Starling, I feel like you might as well just put this unlimited. Bird Up's not really that good. I mean, Bird Up is still there, but it's just not as strong as like the new meta decks to this day. Yeah, nothing else to it. Medora, same thing with Keldo, because you know, Graveyard Shufflers are annoying and you just really can't deal with it as much. Like, no matter how many times you have to resolve a bestial monster, you have to deal with freaking Graveyard Shufflers, and it is kind of bothersome. But you know, knowing that hitting Magnitude would be nice. But even though that's just one bestial monster, understand that you're playing a lot of targets for bestials. So, and plus that, we're also getting Baldrake, so that's another thing. So that's like another bestial monster we have to deal with too, and it's way better than Sarnier. Orcus Harpor. This one's a good one. Orcus Harpor, I don't know if this card will ever come back anytime soon. I feel like it should be. I feel like Orcus should definitely have some support at some point, you know. It deserves some love and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Pot of Prosperity. This is like, I feel like this card should definitely be at 2 as well. The consistency of this card is just by far bonkers, and it's way better than Extravagance in the long run. Like, it's just like, it's meant for every deck that really don't give a dang about freaking extra decks, or just if they need it for the consistency purposes, yes. But yeah, having this card at 3 is kind of ridiculous, but you know, having this card at 2 is kind of reasonable. I know you guys might be wondering, I know this is the new field spell from Photon Hypernova, but you know, I want you guys' opinions. Do you think this card should get hit right away or not? So personally, this is like the next Pearl of Rhino 2.0, but like way good, is as good as freaking the other field spell. Like I don't know what, like why are they making these cards so broken? Like for like the Visa Starfrost lore, like like these cards are just so good. Like to me personally, I think they should definitely limit this in the future, but that's just, I'm like, I know that this card just got released. It's about to get released in a week, but you know, yeah, this card should definitely get hit at some point in time. And speaking of field spell, Pearl of Rhino, oh man, this is no question. Like, let's say, I mean, obviously we should already know what this does. Pearl of Rhino, if you were to shuffle your tier monster, activate Pearl of Rhino pop, which that shit's really ridiculous. This is ridiculously strong. It is searchable. Like, oh my god. Limit. Rite of Eremisier. To be honest, I mean, I already know the answer to this. Like, I feel like this card really doesn't make a difference. Like, you know, having it at 3 is whatever. But, you know, we already know what the issue is. Like, this card, Wandering Griff Rider, like, having an Omni-Gate on the field is just so dang annoying. So, banning this card is so reasonable. Like, freaking OCG, like, I want to say this right now. OCG knows how to make their ban list right. But then you always keep forgetting the other cards. Like, that's why Tier Elements is still the best deck. Like, how many formats? Like, 3 or 4 formats now? So, even though they have it so long ago, like, it's so dumb, bro. It's so dumb. Runic Fountain. Oh my god. Freaking Pure Runic online. Every time I have to deal with this card, it's literally a freaking pot of greed, no matter what. And it's a grind game card that I have to deal with every time. And plus, you know, drawing the out, like what people would say every time on Yu-Gi-Oh! Having to draw the out, like, bro. The odds of that, it's like 1 out of the 40 cards I have to draw, bro. But, you know, Runics is just so dumb broken. And yeah, I know anti-spell's a thing and all, but it's just still good. Still good of a card. Like, this is like the most reasonable way you would want to ban this card. Because of the free draw power, and you can also use your freaking quick play spells on your opponent's turn, which is ridiculously strong. So yes, please ban this card. You can keep Hugin for all I care in the game, but yeah, ban this card at least, dude. Sprite Starter. This is really obvious. I feel like Sprite Starter should definitely be limited. Like, it's literally a 1-card starter. Like, that's literally the name. Sprite Starter, 1-card starter. You know what I'm saying? Like, this card's really good. And yeah, it's too good. Super Poly, you know, I have horrible history with this card, and I don't know what you guys think. I mean, if they don't hit like the freaking tier fusion cards, like, they should at least hit this card for future reference. Super Poly, no matter what, it's too good of a card to deal with. So limit that card for future reference, just so the format could be at least healthier. Tier limit monsters, Havness, definitely limiting this card to 1 is reasonable. Playing on your opponent's turn and milling 3, and it just makes the game so freaking boring. And you know, like I said, TCG at I don't know if it's at its all-time low right now, but I know like competitive players, including me, really likes to play these decks. Well, sometimes I do, sometimes it's not as fun, unless you have to deal with D-Shifter, but like, you know, at some point, the format should really slow the fuck down, bro. Like, please hit these cards in the future, like in the future. I mean, at some point in the future. So I'd say limit this card to 1. And the one and only card that what makes Tier Elements so broken. Kid Kalos. Yeah, this card is really good. There's like no question to it. It's a searchable, so it's a +1. Mill 5, so it's a +1 as well. So yeah, it's too good. Kid Kalos ban, please. Totally awesome. If they don't somehow hit like Sprite Starter, at least ban this card. I mean, this card, I mean, I know people might think this the wrong, I'm like what is it? So I'm like struggling my words today. I know people might think this the wrong way. Like, I know this card just got a reprint and all that, but like, yeah, this card is still broken, still not a once per turn. It benefits a lot for Sprite, and I know it could be outed by cards like Super Poly, for instance, but you know, having to deal with Toad and Elf on the field like 2 or 3 times in a row, and you have no other responses, you're gonna have a hard time. I feel like Toad in the future at some point should definitely get banned. And then freaking Water Enchantress, like I said, we already had this discussion. If you just ban the Wandering Griffin Rider, it's basically just gone. So, you know, the deck's officially dead. So unlimited. And yeah, guys, this is basically the hard reset tier list, ban list, somewhat of a ban list prediction, I guess. Yeah. So what do you guys think about this video? Drop it down below. Leave a like, comment, and always feel free to subscribe. So yeah, this is basically somewhat fairly accurate, considering that Konami doesn't really care about the semi-limited list. They don't really care about that a lot. They mostly care about the forbidden limited a lot. I don't know why they don't care about semi-limited, but yeah, this is I feel like this is an accurate list. What do you guys think? So yeah, so this is Charles, and I'm out of here. So peace out.
Girl, I can't take it.